My name's Bill Harley. I'm on the Red Bandana Fund Committee, which is just basically a bunch of people who have kept doing this. And there's a lot of people who understand what that means. This started, I think, 6 years ago. This is the 6th annual, so I guess it's the 6 years ago we started. I don't have to explain myself to most of you, but Richard Walton was a kind of, he was a cornerstone of people who did good work in Rhode Island. He was born here on the Bay. He went to New York. He was a reporter. He worked for National Network, came back and wrote for a bunch of newspapers. He was friends with Frank McCourt and all those people. He went to the bar where the woman stuck her head in the door and said, "Is this the bar where there's writers with drinking problems?" And someone answered, said, "No, this is a bar where there's drinkers with writing problems." And Richard was part of that. And he came back here and lived a life of intentional poverty, making just enough. And he taught at Rhode Island College. He organized the union at Rhode Island College. The thing about Richard more than anything else was that he showed up. And as some of us have gotten older, we understand that showing up is the main thing.
Even for softball.
Even for softball, which a lot of us did not show up for at noon because we had other things.
One of his big attributes was getting other people to show up.
Getting other people to show up. As a matter of fact, I should tell, for 6 years, I showed up every Friday morning to serve food at Amos House. Because Richard, in his 70s and 80s, spent the night, Thursday night at Amos House, and he said, "I think you should come on Friday morning," and it was like the least I could do. So that's right. He showed up, and he thought other people should, and we did, because we loved him. So anyway, so when Richard passed, as we say in the traditional language, a bunch of us got together and said, how do we honor this guy who has influenced all of us? And so we decided what we should do is give an award. I should also mention Amos House, because Richard was on the board of Amos House, the head of the board for Amos House, which is an unusual thing to have an anarchist on the head of the board. There was a beautiful time, wasn't it? Yeah. So anyway, let me see who's on the board here. Karen Malcolm, Karen's on the board, and Jane Murphy serves on the board, and Jane Falvey, and Richard and the Wahlberg's going to be here today. Who am I? Where are we? I'm missing. Maggie, yeah. Maggie Burns-Rogers, Burns, and then Steve Graham, who was actually the head of the board. Because some of us were tired of doing it. Anyway, so every year we put out the call and we asked for nominations, and we got 12 or 15 nominations this year, and it's really hard for us to decide. And I should actually say here at a certain point, if there's somebody here, there's not a lot of work. It's mostly just showing up when those nominations come in. There's like 4 or 5 meetings that we actually have to have, and we probably could use some new blood if somebody's interested in doing that. We do that. We're actually really aware that we're old white folks, which, okay, some of you are too. But we're aware of that. But anyway, we have to sift through this. And this year, every person, and many of them who were actually in this room, was worthy of this award. And it's really a challenge for us to do this. But we talked at Maggie's house. And after a while, this amazing thing happens, which people's names keep rising to the surface and say, but what about that person? And then there's finally a certain point, and I think every year we've done this is the 6th year, it's been consensus. Nobody has said, I think that's the wrong choice. It's just this consensus that these are the people that we really want to honor in this community. who have done their work, who have been there and have taken a stand when nobody else would. So we, as a committee, are very proud of what we've done and know that this is a good thing. I should say, if you haven't put in $20, we should do this, because this is just a little piecemeal. We'll just do this year after year, as long as there's enough reason to do it, which is just barely a thread to keep this alive. Because when we say someone's name, and we honor who they are, we give them a reminder that their work has value. And most of this work is faced with people turning the other way. So our job is to face them and name them. So we're going to do that now. So I'll do the first one. Steve's going to do the second.